Proving viability with competing products. In this lesson, you're going to discover how to add competing products to your primary products to prove viability. Now, once again, this is going to be quite a long lesson, so we do recommend you watch it more than once before implementing. So adding two competing products to each of our primary products validates the demand. We need to know that there is more than just one product in the BSR range. If there is just one in our BSR range, then it could mean that there is not enough demand to support more than one product. Both the competing products should match the ASM criteria. The exception to this is the price. You can allow a little leeway for the price if several competing products have a lower price. If the majority of the products are lower priced though, then it is a sign that the price of the primary product is potentially not sustainable. So competing products are similar products to the primary product, and they can be identical. If not identical, they need to be as close as possible and provide the same function or experience. For example, if the primary product is metal, then the competing product should be too, not wood for instance. And also, if the products come in a pack, in other words, if there are two of them, for instance, two silicon spatulas, then your competing products need to have two as well. Remember, the competing products have different BSR ranges to the primary products. You must be able to find two competing products that are inside the BSR range for that category. However, there can be more than two. That is not an issue. If you find a competing product that has a lower BSR number than the range, then we delete that product. The reason for this is that it is an indicator the product is too competitive. If you find a competing product that has a lower BSR number than your primary product, then you make that product the primary product. If two of the three have a BSR number lower than the range for the competing products, then we delete the product. But I'm going to show you an example. Say for instance a category has a primary range of 100 to 12,000 and a competing range of 250 to 13,000. You find a primary product with a BSR of 120, so that's fine. Then you find two competing products with BSRs of 290 and 170. Then we would delete the product because two of them have a BSR lower than the competing products range. And again, this is simply an indicator that the competition is too high. So to locate competing products, we use the main keyword for the primary product. The main keyword is essentially the phrase that a customer would type into the Amazon search to find the product. Now, the majority of the time it will be pretty obvious, and most listings will actually have that main keyword right at the beginning of their title. So let's go find our competing products. Okay, so as you can see, I'm back at my workbook and I've added some more primary products that we can use as examples. Now remember, you can do this two different ways. You can build a big list of primary products and then come back and add your competing products, which is what I'm doing now. Or as you will see in the next lesson, you can do both at the same time. We highly recommend you try both methods and see which suits you better. But the first thing we need to do is open one of our listings to decide on the keyword. So if you put your mouse cursor over the URL, you'll see you get a pop-up with another link, and that's a direct link. And you just need to click on it. Alternatively, you can right-click, copy the URL, and paste it into your browser window. But I'm going to click on the link above. And as you can see, it's our French press coffee maker. So the keyword for this one is pretty straightforward. It's French press coffee maker. However, I do know that there are different types. In other words, you'll get some that are entirely stainless steel, whereas this one has got some stainless steel but is mostly glass. So I'm going to use French press coffee maker as the keyword, but I'm also going to use glass. I'm going to copy French press coffee maker. I'm going to type glass in first and then paste the rest of the keyword, and it helps if you can type. So as you can see, I've got glass French press coffee maker, and it's showing you that this is a search that's been used before because it pops up underneath. But then we need to change the categories, and we need to change it to all departments. When we're looking for competing products, we always look in all departments in case there is one that's in a different category. So once I've done all that, I'm going to click on search. And you'll notice that it says 1 to 16 of 858 results for glass French coffee maker, which is exactly what we want. Moving forward, you're going to see some other examples where it automatically assigns a category, but we'll deal with that when we get to it. So once we've got that and we're in all categories, we just click on Jungle Scout. Now at this point, we don't need to use the price filter in Amazon, and we don't need to use the columns that you find by clicking on the three lines, because there simply are not going to be that many results. And then we click on Extract Next Page because we want 2 pages, in other words, at least 30 results. Now, you will see circumstances where there aren't 30 results, and that can be a good thing. But you still must have the primary and competing products matching the ASM criteria, and especially BSR. So once you've got your 30 products, you just want to click on rank. And the reason we do that is we want to have them all in order of lowest BSR to highest BSR, because it makes it easier when we're trying to establish if we've got the two competing products. So we see straight away this top one is 78. So this would rule out this product. However, if I put my mouse cursor over the title, you'll see that it's an entirely different product because it's completely stainless steel. So because it's not a similar product, I'm going to delete it. If we look at the next one, that's our primary product. The next one, it's similar, it's not identical. It is basically a glass French press coffee maker, so we probably use this one. Now you can always open these by clicking on the title and taking a closer look. Then we look at the next one. It's the same or a very similar product. It's got a few extra bits and pieces, but that's not too much of a concern. We've got another one that's the same. Again, this one's different. It's completely stainless steel. I'm going to delete it. We've got another one that's similar. It doesn't look as high quality because quality is something to consider. This is an accessory for a specific French press maker. This one's interesting. It's actually got a bamboo handle and lid, but again, it's not the same as our product. So you want to go through these and remove anything that's definitely not similar to our product. And I'm continuing to do this as I talk because you want to have a general look at all the products. And if we didn't look at these, that replacement beaker would make us think, oh, that price is too low, but it simply does not match our product. All of these are pretty much the same. So I'm good with that. We've got like the first 10 or so results. So we've got a primary and we've got two competing inside the range. So the next thing we do is look at the price. So the prices are all okay. They all match our range. And if you look at the rest of them, again, they're all up there close to our range. We've got one at $15.99, but again, you do have a bit of leeway with the price. And then we'll check the ranks, and we can see the ranks are all okay because it's 147, which for a primary product is fine in kitchen and dining. And actually, this one's a bit too close. It's 220 because our competing products range starts at 250, so we would rule it out. But we've also got something else that jumps out here, and that is if we look at the top 4 products, not even just the top 3, they've all got more than 1,000 reviews. And remember, for a product to be viable, we need at least either the primary or one of the competing products to have reviews of 1,000 or less. So if we think of the 3 products as a group, one of them has to have less than 1,000 reviews, and we don't have that here. So our first product is a dud when it comes to viability. So I'm going to close that window, close the tab, and then we're going to delete it. Now, this is critically important. When you delete a product, you want to click on the first box that has the URL, and then you want to hold down the Shift key and click on the reviews number. Do not click further to the right because that will mess up the automated calculations. So in other words, you're going to select the first piece of information you put in and the last, because the reviews was the last thing you put in, and then simply hit delete. Now we're going to have a lot of spaces when we finish this lesson, and I'll show you then how we sort this all out so it removes all the lines. But let's jump on quickly to our next product. So again, I'm putting my mouse over the URL and clicking on the link. And this one's the OXO Good Grip Simply Tear Standing Paper Towel Holder. And they've also included its brushed stainless steel. So I'm actually going to call this a single tear standing paper towel holder because we'll be able to see from the results whether a product is stainless steel or not, and it will need to be. So for instance, if it's wood or plastic, it doesn't match our product. Simply tear is actually, I'm pretty sure, an OXO trademark, but single tear is a general term used for these kind of products. So I'm going to paste that in. So we've got single tear standing paper towel holder. Now this keyword phrase might be too long. We'll find out in a second. So we're going to change home and kitchen to all departments and click search. Now you see we've got 2 results, which means it's too long of a keyword phrase. So I'm actually going to try removing the standing, and you can see it showed us the results there. And straight away we've got 110 results. So that's all that's all you want to do. If you've got too long a phrase, shorten it. I could probably shorten this again by removing the paper. It would probably recognize single tear towel holder, but we're all good. We've got 110 results. And again, it's not showing any category here, so we're good. We're showing all categories. So I'm going to click on Jungle Scout, and then I'm going to click it again to get 2 pages of results. And when it's finished, I'm going to click on rank, and you can see we've got a rank here of 4 straight away. I'm pretty sure that's not going to be our product, and sure enough, it's not. It's a bunch of paper towels, so we can delete that. The next one, as you can see, it's a very basic holder. It doesn't look like it's single tear, and it looks pretty cheap, so I'm going to get rid of that one. This is a wall mount. So again, it's not ours. Remember, ours is a standing towel holder. And there's our primary product. Now the next one is wall mount. And for a lot of these, you won't even need to look at the image. You can actually see it just by looking at the title. Again, this is wall mounted or under cabinet mounted. This one's similar. You can see it's stainless steel, single tear paper towel holder. Again, I could open this up to take a closer look if I wanted. This one looks similar. I'm not entirely sure if it's single tear or not, and it looks a little bit cheaper. I'll take a quick look. This doesn't look anything like the quality we've got, and the entire middle bit looks plastic. So I'm actually going to remove that one. It doesn't look close enough to ours. We've got another wall mount one. Okay, so that looks like it's ours. You can see it's even got the gizmo alongside the paper towels. Wall mount, no good. Similar, but it's a different design. You can see it's got this whole plastic thing going on around the back. Again, similar, but it's that different design. And that's something to point out here. You might come along and be searching for this and see a different design and a different type of product, and you can always run that through the primary product qualification and see if you found another product. But this one looks similar. It's similar. Again, these are all looking similar. So we've got like the first 10 results are all good. So then we're going to look at the rank. So we've got the primary product. If we look at the BSR of the competing products, they both fall within our competing products BSR range. So that's good. Forgot to look at the price. The prices look good. And if we look further down, they're all looking good. This one at $9, you can see it's a cheaper version again. It doesn't look like it's single tear. So I'm pretty okay with all these prices. And then we've done the BSR, we've done the prices, so we need to look at reviews. So we've got 2163, 642, and 1296. So this matches our reviews qualification because one of the three is less than 1,000. So we're going to add this to our list. We're going to add the competing products. To do that, we're going to put our mouse cursor over the title, right click, and copy link address. This saves you opening up the individual pages. And then it's this product we're looking at, and we're going to put that in URL 2. I'll just mention this briefly. We're going to remove everything from the REF onwards, so I won't mention that again. Then we need the BSR of the first competing product, where we're going to put in, which we're going to put in BSR 2, and the reviews of the first competing product, which we're going to put in reviews 2. So the BSR is 1480 and the reviews are 642. So now we need the URL of the second competing product. So I'm going to right click on the title, copy the link address, paste it in, and then we want the BSR and reviews for that product. The BSR is 4268 and the reviews are 1296. So there we go. We've actually added our first hot product opportunity because we validated the demand, and so we'll take this forward all the way through to the lesson where we narrow down our list, because we're going to have a lot more of these, and we're going to show you when we get to narrow down your list different ways of selecting your best 3, and then you'll take the best 3 into module 2. Let's jump straight into the next one. So this is the bottle opener. I'm going to open it in a new tab. I can close the paper towel holder now. So this is a cordless electric wine bottle opener. I'm going to grab that as the keyword. I think electric wine bottle opener might be sufficient, but let's see how many results we get. Paste it into the search bar. I'm going to select all departments and click search. So I'm going to click on Jungle Scout. I'm going to extract the second page. I'm going to sort by rank, and that's our primary product. And you can see it's at 97 now. When I first did this, it was higher than that. So when you get a situation with BSR where it's this close, like 97, because essentially, you know, the range is 100 and up in this category, it's close enough that we let that have leeway, but we're going to go through the process and then we can make a decision on whether we want to keep it or not. So the second one, it looks similar. It looks like it's got some kind of plastic base at the bottom. It looks very similar. This is a completely different type of bottle opener. It's not electric. Got another electric one again. It looks similar. This one looks a bit cheaper. It almost looks like it's plastic. This one's a full set. It's a very similar product, but you'll notice it does have extra accessories that come with it, which obviously throws the price up. So this is an example. If you get in a situation like this and you like the product, you can always go and check for a primary search for electric wine opener kit and see if there are enough examples for that to be a viable product. But I'm going to delete it. So this one looks pretty much the same. That's not electric. That's similar. Again, it's similar. So these pretty much all look the same. You'll notice we do have one product that's at $14.99 on the list. And again, I'm going to allow leeway here because if you look at the rest of the results, they're all at what we're looking for. Now, if something is outside the BSR range and it has a lower price, then I'm less concerned. We're more concerned with the products that are inside the BSR range. But we're okay with price, but again, rank. So even though we could be lenient with this 97 for our primary product, we're seeing straight away that the second product is at 156, which is lower than our competing products BSR range, which starts at 250. So we would delete this. And again, if we look at the reviews, we've got 6,000, 2,700 and 1,500. So we would rule it out because of reviews too. So unfortunately, because I think it's a nice looking product, we're going to rule this one out. So I'm going to close the tab, and again, we're going to delete it. Remember, very important, click in the box for the URL, hold down the Shift key and go to the last data you entered, which will always be the reviews, and click delete. We'll probably look at one or two more examples. I think you get the gist of how this works now. So we'll open up this one, and it's an instant read meat thermometer digital kitchen probe. I'm going to go for digital meat thermometer. It seems to be the best keyword here. You could even just use meat thermometer, but I actually know I'm going to see a lot of different types. So it's very important that you make sure you identify your product before going further. So just always take a really good look at what it is, what it looks like, and the material it's made out of, and also the quality from what you can tell of the image before you actually then search. But I'm going to put in digital meat thermometer, and you can see there's a ton of results here already. I'm going to change the category to all departments and click search. And finally, it's given me what I wanted. You can see it's saying 1 to 24 of over 1,000 results. And it's in this subcategory. It's actually in the main category. And if we look a bit further down, it says showing results in home and kitchen. Show instead results in all departments. That is what we want. So click all department. Now, something else you can always do as well to check your keyword is to have a quick scroll down before you use Jungle Scout to see if it shows you your type of product. And you can see it's showing a ton of different products. Some are similar, some are not. So that's why it's important to make sure you know what you're looking at. But now that I know I'm in all categories, I'm going to click on Jungle Scout. I'm going to extract the second page. I'm going to sort by rank. And already you're seeing these scary BSR numbers. So this one's 20, so that's way too competitive. But let's see if it's the same. And you can see it's virtually the same. And if we look at the next one, it's also really similar, and that's at 39. So we're going to rule this one out simply on the BSR of the #1 product. But remember, always make sure it matches your product. The other thing to notice here is the price. We've got $11.29, $10.29 for this one. So yeah, it's definitely a no-go. So I'm going to close Jungle Scout, close the tab, click in the box for the URL, hold down the Shift key, click on the last piece of information we added, in other words, the reviews, and hit delete. It's really important you don't delete the whole line because it will mess up the auto calculations further along. So I'll show one more example. Before I do that, I just want to show you this floor mat because I made a mistake when I added this. And the simple mistake is it's oversized. You can see here it's 20 inches by 32 inches, which is huge. And if you actually look further down, they even have a larger one, which is 20 by 39. So I should never have added this product because it's too big. So I'm just going to close that tab and we're going to delete that one, which is this one here. Line 9, the anti-fatigue mat. I'm going to hold down the Shift key, click on the 233 for the reviews, and hit delete. So I'm going to try and find one now that we're going to rule out because it hasn't got enough demand. So this one, Johnny Peeler Victorio. Well, this is the apple peeler. So this one's quite interesting because if I go in and put apple peeler in the search, in fact, I'll show you it. And then we select all departments and click search. And again, it's showing us that it's searching inside a home and kitchen. We want to click on all departments, and we're going to scroll down, and we can see there's a few that are similar. It actually quite surprised me. I expect to see a lot more products like this one. And so let's take a look. So I'm going to click on Jungle Scout. Could be wrong here. There could be enough demand. I'm going to extract the second page, sort by rank, and there you go. That's the type of product I expected to see. So it's a 75, but it's not anything like our product. And the next one is actually the exact same product. So we've got this cast iron suction base apple peeler. That's our main product. You can see the BSR is 93, so it's actually a little bit below our range. Again, you can allow a little bit of leeway, but let's see what else we've got. So this one's cast magnesium. I'm going to say it's the same thing because essentially it's heavy duty, so that one's all right. This one's electric, so it's not our product. It looks a little bit similar, but you know, it's not. I guess it's similar, probably similar enough. In fact, actually it's very similar when you look at it from a different angle. So that one's fine. The next one, it's nothing like our product. So that's similar, just different color. That's an upright version. I guess we could say it's similar. Let me take a quick look. No, it's not similar. It's actually powered as well. That one's made out of plastic. And that one's the same. That one's the same. Similar enough. Similar enough. Similar enough. Okay, so we've got quite a few of these products now. So if we look at the prices, we're all good apart from this one at $11.97. But again, if it's only one product, it's not a huge deal. And I actually got this one wrong. It does look like there's enough demand. In fact, this one's quite definitely in demand. the number one product. You can see it's a 93. Again, I'm going to allow a little bit of leeway here. You can probably allow 10%, so maybe down as far as 90, depending on what the other products are. But you can see we've got 404 and 1551 for the next two. In other words, the two competing products, that's fine. This one does concern me a little bit because it's 12.99, and I'm wondering actually whether this is something to do with the base. Again, I would let it go because it's only one product. You can see all the others are doing all the other top 5 or 6 are all $20 or more. So it wouldn't bother me that there's one of these that's at $12.99. So our BSRs are all fine. We've decided we're having leeway on the 93. Reviews, we've got 32.92, 15.91, and then 355. So we've got one of the three that has less than 1,000 reviews, so that's all good. So I'm going to add this one. So I'm going to copy the link. I'm going to right click on it, copy the link address. So it's this product here, so it's URL 2, and then we need the BSR and the reviews, which is 404 and 1591. And then we need the URL of the second competing product. I'm going to right click, copy the link address. If your memory is better than mine, you could memorize the BSR and reviews while you were grabbing the link. It's 1551 and 355. Okay, so we've now got two products added to our hot product opportunity list. Now, when you search the first 5 pages or even 10 pages, you might find that you remove virtually all of your primary products when you add the competing products, and that's completely normal. And it's just because of the way Amazon search is arranged and because of the way our search string brings everything in. So I'll just do one more, and this is this one, which I think is quite interesting. And you'll notice it's in baby, so we'll open it up. And actually, I do want to point something out. I'm surprised we haven't had an example of it yet, and I'll show you what I mean in 1 second. So I have a funny feeling, especially when you look at the green one, that this is lawn countertop drying rack. And I think it's meant to look, I think it's lawn, because it's not the brand name or anything, because it's meant to look like grass. So I'm going to grab lawn countertop drying rack as my keyword. And you'll also notice here the listing looks different, and that's because it's a different category and baby shows things differently. I'm going to paste it in and we'll select all departments. And you can see showing selected results. We want all results. So we're going to click on that one. And we've got 131. I'm going to click on Jungle Scout. And then I'm going to extract the next page. And then we're going to sort by rank. Now there's something I quickly want to point out before we take a look at this product. And that is quite often when you do your searches, especially if you're searching in different categories, you may well have different categories here. Now, if that happens, it's perfectly okay, but you need to use the BSR range for that category to validate it. It's very, very important. In fact, I'm actually going to go and find an example to show you exactly what it is. But let's take care of this product first. First of all, this first one, yep, is exactly what we're looking for. You see the price is really low and the rank is too low. So we're just going to remove this straight away. It's too competitive and the price is very low. I don't even need to look at any other products. So I'm going to close the Jungle Scout app, close the tab, and then we're going to delete it. And it's this one here. So I'm going to click in the URL box, remember, hold down the shift key, click on the reviews, and hit delete. Okay, so I just paused the video and I've added another product because it shows a specific example of different categories. And one thing I have noticed I didn't do is I didn't add the keywords. I'll do that in a second. So for this product, the keyword is actually knife sharpening whetstone kit. So I've already done the search and everything for it, and you can see we've got these products. The top bunch are all pretty much the same. That's a little bit different. I deleted that one. So these are all pretty close. The prices are all good. And the BSR is what I wanted to show you because tools and home improvement is a far smaller category than kitchen and dining. So if a product had the same BSR in both tools and home improvement and kitchen and dining, the one in kitchen and dining would have more sales. So it would be the most in-demand product. So it would be the primary product. If we look at these first three, you can see we've got 163, 1938. Those are both in tools and home improvement. And this third one, 2577, is actually in kitchen and dining. So when you get these situations where you've got different categories, you also need to look at the monthly sales. So if we look at these and we're just looking at the top 3 products for now, you can see the first one has 4,354 and it's clearly the highest. But if we look at the second and third, you can actually see that the second competing product, in other words, the third product, has more monthly sales than the second one. So because of that, when we add this product, we would add this third product as our first competing product because it's got more sales per month. So I'm going to add this one now. So I'm going to copy the link address because this is our first competing product. And actually they're doing an incredible job because they're selling this for twice the price of the others. And it's a little bit over our range, but I'm not too concerned about it being over our range. And this is more about showing you the differences in these categories. I would go to my workbook and that would become my URL to, in other words, my first competing product. Then I would add the 2577 for the BSR, and I might put a space and then KD to show it was a different category. You could also put 2577 and highlight it in red without the KD. In other words, you just click on the box, go up here to the text color where it's got the A, and maybe I'd put it in red to remind me that it's in a different category. And that becomes more important when we narrow down our list. And the reviews for that product, and remember it's the third one, is 686. And then we would add the second one in the list as our second competing product because it's got less sales than the third one. Put that URL in, and the BSR is 1938 and 162 reviews. So I've added that one. I'm just going to close this tab. So I just wanted to point that out because it is important, because especially when you're searching in other categories, you're going to get situations where when you run the search for all categories, your top three, in other words, your primary and two competing products might be in different categories. If that happens, use the monthly sales to determine which is in the most demand, because we always want to order these in terms of the most demand. So I think I've shown you enough examples. I'm actually going to pause the video and go and finish these off and also add my keyword, and then I'll come back. Okay, so I went through the rest of these, but I did want to show you this example because it actually shows us about numbers in a pack. So I'm going to open it up. The keyword we're going to use is stainless steel taco holder. Pretty sure there's no need for the stand because I don't know what other kind of taco holder there could possibly be. Select all departments and hit search. It's showing us all the categories, so I'm going to click on JS. I'm going to extract the second page. I've sorted by rank. So this first one, you see it's a 4-pack. Similar product, 4-pack, again it's a similar product. This one is a 2-pack, so we're automatically going to delete it because it hasn't got the same number. This one's a 3-pack, so again it's a different number, so we're going to delete it. This one looks like a very cheap version. You can also see it's half the size. It only holds, in fact I think that only holds 1 taco, so that's nowhere near the same. That's similar, it's got 4, that's got 4, that's got 4, that's got 4, and you can actually see it by the titles. That's got 2, so I'm going to delete it. And we've got 4 again. It's a slightly different style though, you can see, but it's actually close enough, even though it's a rack as opposed to being solid metal. And we've got another one at 4. So it's important that they have the same numbers. We check the BSR, we're good. The primary is in the primary range and the 2 competing ones are in the competing range, and the reviews are fine. But this is one we'd add to our list. So I just wanted to show you that now. So I'm going to pause the video and add the results. And now I want to show you how we get rid of all these blank lines. So all you need to do is click in the first box of information, which is actually a sample in this case. So click in that first box, and then we want to scroll across by using the bar underneath. And then you want to click in the bottom estimated profit margin. And don't worry about the profit margin, it does come in handy later. And we will be showing you how to calculate that. Right now, it's just putting in the price of the product because we haven't got the estimated cost. And again, we'll be covering that when we narrow down our list. Then once you've done that, you want to click on data at the top and then sort range. You want to leave the data as header row blank. You do not check that box because it doesn't have a header row. You want to select the column O, which is the estimated monthly profit. And then you want to click Z to A because you want to go from high to low, and then click sort. And this is a message you'll get if you ever try and change the formatting. As long as you're sure you're not doing something that's going to mess up the sheet, you can click OK. And there we go. We've now got all the empty lines gone. And that's a simple way of doing it. Now we will be using sorting later on when we narrow down our list. But for now, that's how you make it look pretty. Now you'll have less of an issue of this if you use the method in the next lesson where you do everything all at once. But if you're using the method of building your list and then adding the competing products, then you will need to do this. So that's actually how you add competing products to prove viability of your primary product list. Now, I just want to stress again, I'm actually surprised I ended up with this many products, because I only searched the first 5 pages of one category. You should be searching a lot more than 5 pages. The more work you do, the further pages down, the further you go down the list of pages on Amazon, the more likely you're doing more work than other people, and the more likely you're going to find a really cool product that no one else finds. Remember, you know how to save where you're at, so you can come back and continue your search. So go down 30, 40, 50, even 100 pages, but split it up. Don't try and do it all at once. Work for an hour, maybe an hour and a half at a time, then go away and take a break. And I will reinforce that in the next lesson. So we covered what competing products are and how to find them, and how to add them to your ASM workbook. In the next lesson, you're going to discover how to find the primary and competing products at the same time and build your hot opportunity list. Your action step: Go improve the viability of the primary products you found by finding competing products for them. But that's it for this lesson. Take care.